I want to share a story with you on this theme that a woman that actually Washington D.C. and it was a story shared by a man who worked for the State Department and then ran a rehab program for juvenile offenders in D.C. And most of the youth he worked with had been in gangs and had committed homicide. That was his job. So here's the story he tells. He says, one 14-year-old boy in the program shot and killed an innocent teenager to prove himself to the gang. And at the trial, the victim's mother sat impassively silent till the end when the youth was convicted of the killing. And after the verdict was announced, she stood up and stood slowly. She stared at him and she stated, "I'm going to kill you." And then the youth was taken away to serve several years in a juvenile facility. So after the first half year, the mother of the slain child went to visit his killer. Now, he'd been living on the streets before, and she was the only visitor he'd had. And for a time they talked, and when she left, she gave him some money for snacks and the like. Then she started step by step to visit him more regularly to bring food, small gifts. And near the end of his 3 years, she asked him what he'd be doing when he got out. So he was confused and uncertain, so she offered to set him up with a job at a friend's company. Then she inquired about where he'd live, and since he had no family to return to, she offered him temporary use of the spare room in her home. For 8 months he lived there, he ate her food, worked at the job, and then one evening she called him into the living room to talk and sat down opposite him and waited. And then she asked, "Do you remember in the courtroom when I said I was going to kill you?" He said, "I sure do." "Well, I did," she went on. "I did not want the boy who could kill my son for no reason to remain alive on this earth. I wanted him to die. So that's why I started to visit you and bring you things. And that's why I got you the job and let you live here in my house. And that's how I set about changing you. And that old boy, he's gone. So now what I want to ask you, since my son is gone and that killer's gone, is if you'll stay here. I've got room and I'd like to adopt you, if you'll let me." And so she became the mother of her son's killer, the mother he had never had. So when I share that, it's not that we all should be like that, or I don't know how I could possibly react if somebody killed my son. So it's not for that reason, it's more, who are we when we're causing harm? We are suffering when we're causing harm. And who are we when we're hating and blaming those that cause harm? It makes us smaller. And so this is an extraordinary example of someone not staying in the ego reactivity and becoming larger and helping someone else become larger, more who they are too. And that's the possibility for every single one of us as our intention becomes deeper to wake up out of the judging trance, out of the blaming trance. That's the invitation. So I do think of it, I started telling you about that improv theater, that every one of us has stuff that comes at us. And some of it is truly injurious. And so it's really important to honor that and to honor the anger and the hurt and all the emotions. And if we want the freedom, it's to honor that and to not stop there, not lock in. Keep going. Keep being willing to touch what's under there, to offer yourself kindness. It has to happen first. You cannot forgive another until you bring that kindness inward. And then you'll find that there is more softness and more space. There's more room, there's more clarity to see past the mask of the other. Rumi puts it this way. He says, very little grows on jagged rock. Be ground, be crumbled, so wild flowers will come up where you are. You've been stony for too many years. Try something different. Surrender. So we'll close tonight with a forgiveness meditation. If you're uncomfortable, take 20, 30 seconds. If you want to even stand, stretch or move, because I want to make sure you're sitting in a way that you feel some ease. And as you close your eyes, I'd like to ask you to begin with the same breath that we did with the guided meditation. So you're breathing in and just feeling a sense of the breath opening, like even in a cellular way, opening to receive, that you're kind of expanding, loosening, feeling the life and the energy in your body. And then with the out-breath, just resting and settling and just sensing the space inside and around you. Stillness, resting. So you inhale and open, inflate, expand, yield. And exhale, just rest. Sensing the space within and around you, letting everything float. You can even sense it if you just take a certain part of your body, like your hands, just inhaling and feel the joints loosen and open, the hands soften. And exhale and just let the sensations float in awareness. And you can feel it in the heart. If you inhale and just yield and open, just feeling the aliveness, the vulnerability that's there on the in-breath. And on the out-breath, just letting be, letting this life float in something larger. We begin the forgiveness practice by sensing where you might have caused harm to another person. Just taking a moment, because we all have places in our life where we have injured others with our words, our reactivity, our neglect, our anger. You can imagine and sense that person and the hurt that's there. Staying right here, breathing, and just letting yourself feel the realness of another's pain. And you might mentally whisper the person's name and just say, I see and feel the pain I've caused you, and I ask your forgiveness. Please forgive me. Let yourself keep feeling that breath and staying in contact with your own vulnerability, whether it's remorse, sorrow. Again, whispering the person's name. I see and feel the pain I've caused you, and I ask your forgiveness. Please forgive me. Turning the attention to yourself, sensing if you're holding against yourself for hurting this person or for anything right now. Just scan and sense if there's something unforgiven in yourself. Just with the intention to forgive yourself. You might just put your hand on your heart and just offer some forgiven, some words. It's okay. I like the words forgiven because they're so simple. And even the intention to let go, to not hold against your own being, not to push your own being out of your heart. Forgiven. Then we widen our attention to sense where someone has caused injury to us, that we feel a distance from, that we're holding resentment or blame towards, that we'd like to explore being more forgiving with. And again, not to pick someone where there's trauma, but where it's just a relationship where you know that you've been locked in some way to blame, where you felt hurt, irritated, angered, some obstacle. And take some moments to let yourself remember what this person does or has done that has caused the reaction in you, the armoring. What is it really that is so bothersome, upsetting? What does it mean to you when a person acts like that? What does it tell you? There's something you're believing about how this person's relating to you. Is it that they don't see you, or they're not respecting you? That they don't care about you? What's the worst thing about the way that they're behaving? What brings up the fear or the hurt? And as you inquire, bring your kindness to the place in you that gets upset. Very beginning, right, first step, bring it right to your own upset heart. Whether it's the feeling of anger or the feeling of fear, perhaps shame, frustration, just in some way offer a gesture. And again, the hand on the heart can be sometimes the most powerful because you're directly, with touch, communicating, I'm here with you, that you're with yourself, that you're behind yourself. So you might, again, feel that touch and just offer care. And if you feel like you need some help with it, imagine someone that you trust and love helping you to offer care, as if they're just beaming it in and bathing you, the place in you that feels upset, with a forgiving, loving, kind, caring energy. It's when you begin to feel that your own vulnerability and upset is held with kindness, that you can look out through clearer eyes and with a more open or soft heart at the other and see behind the mask. Can you see with the other the hurt or the fear or the pain or the suffering that might have that person behave in ways that are upsetting to you? as you reflect on the other person, you can sense your intention to include that person in your heart. Just let it be your intention. And if you can forgive, sometimes the language, just whispering the person's name and saying, I see and feel the pain you've caused me, and I forgive you now. Just mentally whispering that, or I see and feel the pain you've caused me, and it's my intention to forgive you. It's very powerful.